Hi, this is Yuda Ben Khalifa, and I'm going to give you a little introduction into tensile structures. Tensile structures are extremely useful and creative because there's really no limitation to what you can do with them. Um, the most simple and basic and primitive structure is a tent, which is a tensile structure where you take a fabric or something that is woven and you tie it together, you make it taut, you use tension, hence tensile structure, to create whatever shape that you want. Obviously, teepees are an example of this, basic canvas tents are an example of this, and more modern examples would be the United Nations Port Cochere, I can't pronounce that right, which is an exhibition in New York City, 2010. A very modern, sleek look, which is not, when you think about it, not that much more advanced than a regular tent. On the right, we have something called the maiden tent, which is for refugees in Greece and actually all over the world. It could be used for anything, and it's a very insulating structure. One of the reasons why we use tents to begin with is because it's very cheap, or economical is really the better way to think about it. When you go camping, you don't bring a house, you bring a tent. Why? Because it's easier, it's cheaper, it's faster, and it's better for what you're going to take you, what, 30 minutes to put up a tent when it would take you, 30 months to put up a house. So tents clearly have a benefit that more permanent structures do not. But these non-permanent structures, or these less permanent structures, I should say, can be made permanent with the same concept by taking woven steel, or for example, taking the tensioning of a fabric membrane system, like you use wires or cables. You can make very, very, very permanent structures out of this. The first example would be in 1885. Vladimir Georgievich, I cannot pronounce Russian names, Shukov, he made the first hyperloid Adziogo lighthouse, which was a tensile structure, and it inspired, here on the right, the hall at the International Garden Exhibition. You can see it on the top of the left pictures. You can see the tent-like look, and on the bottom you can see how Vladimir's original structures were clearly the antecedent for it, not just in like the science of it, but the look, the inside effect. You can see the crisscrossing tension of the cables. Another use for it, aside from just a structural use, is a membrane use, where you surround the building in this membrane of tensile structures, of fabric or steel or mesh, or really whatever you want. And one of the uses of this is, well, it's a diffusion of light, but it creates a very easy system for doing. You don't need to. It's much easier than you would for glass, much heavier, much more expensive. This, you can use a simple sheet and just expand it. There's really no limit to what you can do with it. And I find tensile structures extremely interesting just because of the limitless options you can do with it. A kite is technically a tensile structure. Obviously, it has a different use, but the amount of things you can do with a kite, the amount of things you can do with a building, pretty much endless. That is tensile structures.